It is brought to you by eBay Motors. Big game tonight for the Aztecs, coming off of their win on Friday night that I completely missed over New Mexico.
Yeah, you weren't texting me during that game, and now I know why. We'll talk about it coming up.
Yeah, so the Aztecs tonight, Utah State, big game, 6 p.m. tip-off, 5:30 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride for the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of Jon and Jim. We have a good show lined up for you today. Scott Miller, New York Times contributor, will get us everything we need to know about Padres spring training being underway. He'll join us at 5. Paul Garrison, East Village Times, does a wonderful job covering San Diego State. He'll join us at 4:30, like Jim just said. As big as they come tonight in Logan, San Diego State, Utah State, with first place on the line. I got a text from Jim at 5:40 a.m. on Saturday. I had not heard from him Friday night. 5:40.
I don't remember, honestly.
Literally 5:40. I don't know what's worse. Watching the Niners lose the Super Bowl or having an infected kidney stone that is causing me to have surgery and be in the hospital all weekend. Then there was a picture of 5:41 of you in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
When I woke up, I could not believe that. So your long weekend entailed kidney stone surgery.
Dude.
But you are here to tell us about it. I seriously do sympathize for you on that. Nobody wants to deal with anything health related. We take our health for granted. Then all of a sudden things can get taken from us. It is awesome to see you. You look good.
Thanks.
But that doesn't explain the ordeal you went through over the last 72 hours plus.
So Friday before the show,
right,
I was feeling like a little discomfort in my stomach, like my lower abdomen area.
Sure.
And I was like, feels like a stomach ache. And I was like, it's probably going to go away. Hopefully it goes away. I laid down for a little bit and then I came to work and I was fine. You saw me,
fine,
Brent, I was completely
normal
fine. Normal show.
You didn't complain about anything to me. All fair. You didn't say, man, my stomach's hurting me. Yeah.
No, nothing. And I stay a little after to help Brent out with the Aztec pregame show. So I'm here until like 7-ish, 6:45, 7-ish.
That's right. Yep.
And I'm fine. Everything's fine. I go home and about halfway home, I'm like starting to get in severe pain. My stomach area and my lower abdomen and my groin. I was just like, oh, what is that? Like, what is that feeling? It just started. I started to really hurt. And I'm going back to, it's probably just a stomach ache because I had this kind of same feeling earlier in the day and it went away. So I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. Yeah, I didn't get fine. It did not get better.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, guys. It did not get better. I get home and I immediately, just break down to the point of like, I can't even function. Where I'm hunched over, my stomach is killing me. It feels like you got hit in the groin. Like it feels like someone kicked me in the nuts, punched me in the stomach, and then did it over. Like they just kept on doing it. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not normal. This is not just a regular stomach ache. Like something's wrong here. And poor Erin, she's trying to ask me, like, what do I do? Like, what are we going to do? And I can't function. So I'm like, I don't know, like go to the emergency room or a urgent care or something. And she's like, where do you go? And I was like, I can't function right now. I can't think. I don't know what to do. You're just gonna have to take me somewhere.
Okay.
Take me somewhere.
So you get in the car.
So managed to get in the car and we get to the emergency room. And dude, that was hell. Because Erin didn't know how to get to the emergency room because she's freaking out. And we go around this corner somewhere. And I need to get out of the car. I get out of the car and I'm like hunched over trying to find this emergency room. She has Bentley in the car. It's this whole ordeal. Finally, I get to the emergency room and if you've ever been to an emergency room, it's always packed. Yeah. There's always these,
not ideal.
It's not ideal.
Yeah.
It's not like a place
that take a long time.
It could take a very long time. And usually if you go to the emergency room, there's always that one person in there that is in like severe pain to the point
No
of
doubt.
where you're looking at them like, dude, that guy needs help.
And that was you?
That was me.
My gosh.
And
you're making me drink water because I know that is helpful.
It was, I mean, they're
and
like,
I don't even have kidney stones.
And Erin's taking Bentley to our friend's house because this is going to be like a whole ordeal. She had,
right.
We can't leave Bentley home alone all night long, which what it turned out to be. And so she's gone for like 40 minutes, like taking Bentley to her friend's house, our friend's house. And I get in the emergency room. They're like, hey, can you fill out these paperwork? And I'm just like, I can't even like talk right now. So somehow I fill this stuff out. I'm waiting in there probably 45 minutes to an hour before I get called in. And they immediately hook me up to like all of these things and like put an IV in me and put my heart rate. Like, it's just like, what is happening right now? Inject me with some morphine. Probably like 30 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I feel
now
everything's fine.
Yeah,
I feel totally fine. Morphine is a great drug when needed.
Right.
when you're in
you need it.
When you're in severe pain. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, yeah, this is probably like a kidney stone. Because all Erin's doing is looking up online like symptoms
and it's
of
coming back
to kidney stone. But we don't know exactly what it is yet. So I have to go through all these tests, and they give me a CT scan and then an ultrasound, and they test my urine, like blood samples and everything. Finally, it's now like, I don't know, 2 a.m. When they finally come in and tell me like, okay, you have a kidney stone on your right side. It's 0.6 millimeters or whatever. I forget how big it was. And you also have an infection. So
a kidney infection.
So we're transferring you to a hospital, and we don't know when the ambulance is going to be here. So in the meantime, you're going to have to wait.
So Erin couldn't drive you at this point.
No,
you're already in the system.
I asked, I was like, can Erin, can she drive
so you
me?
got transported in an ambulance.
Yeah.
Overnight.
Yeah.
Between Friday and Saturday night.
I left the emergency room at 4:40 a.m.
Were the lights on the ambulance?
Yeah, they were not.
Okay.
I don't think they
drove you over there.
But that's good because I think it's an extra $300 if they turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, the problem was they tell me, sorry, but it's gonna be a very bumpy ride. And I'm like, oh no.
Why?
Because they're telling me like the shocks and the
oh my God.
I don't know, whatever. So anyway, I get to the hospital like 5 a.m. or 5:15 a.m. and immediately a couple doctors come in and tell me that I'm going to need surgery. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, is this really bad as you guys are making it seem right now? So sure enough, 30 minutes later, as soon as I get to the hospital, I'm downstairs and getting surgery. The doctors are asking me a bunch of questions and they're telling me what they're going to do to me. And I have no idea what's happening. They put me under. I wake up. It's like 8 a.m. I have no idea where I'm at. I get put back in my hospital bed and back up to my hospital room, which I'm sharing with the rudest person on the planet, by the way. That's a whole different story. And so, yeah, that was my Friday and Saturday morning. And then I just spent all Saturday in the hospital getting antibiotics and trying to get this kidney stone out. And then all of Sunday morning, and I was out by Sunday afternoon.
Well, it's good to have you back,
dude.
I don't, and like you were saying off air, like you don't wish that on anyone. Like this is like real deal. And by the way, I trust you because I've heard from others about it. Like this is something you don't want to deal with. It's one of those things that can happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But one of those things that you just hope. I don't even know what you can do about it. Certain things just happen. Like you can have like appendicitis, or you could have a kidney stone. Certain things just happen.
Well,
unfortunately, you're here to tell us about it on the other side.
One of the things that you can do to help prevent this is drink a lot of water.
Well, yeah, I feel like your diet wasn't perfect for it because after the fact,
no.
Brent, they're like, you shouldn't drink soda and you shouldn't eat like salty processed foods.
So I'm drinking a lot of water with IVs in it right now.
Okay. Eric Kutsenda.
I was going to say it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And you're right. I would never, ever wish that on anybody ever. Not even my worst enemy would I wish having a kidney stone and that type of pain.
What's interesting is you said Saturday morning at 5:40. I don't know what's worse, watching the Niners lose the Super Bowl or this, but this clearly I hope that one wasn't a product of the other. Like your stress levels related to Super Bowl 58 carrying over for a week, leading to what happened.
I really
this
hope
past
not.
weekend.
But last week sucked, man. Last week was not fun.
That was
The
not
Niners
ideal.
and then this kidney stone hospital surgery, like awesome.
All right, let's switch gears to baseball.
Hard right turn.
Hard right
turn right now.
Eric Kutsenda, we've been asking to hear from the Padres chairperson for months since the untimely passing of Peter Seidler. He spoke Saturday while Jim was in a hospital bed.
I missed it all.
He spoke for about 10 minutes on a number of issues: payroll, television rights, AJ Preller's future, right? His tenure right now. This, to me, is the biggest takeaway of spring training, one of the biggest stories of the offseason, maybe other than the trade of Juan Soto. Eric Kutsenda, Padres' new chairman, addressing AJ Preller's job status essentially Saturday morning with the media. Take a listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, AJ's a pro. He's maybe the best talent evaluator in baseball. But like Eric and myself and AJ, we're all accountable, right? We all have objectives and goals, and you know, he's falls in that category as well. So, you know, we all have to accomplish our mission and serve this organization, and we'll be accountable to each other to do that.
I think in one of Peter's last interviews, he talked about judging Preller on his body of work, not from when he was hired in 2015, but from the post-Tingler era. From how will he be viewed? Like, from what era will you be judging him and his work?
Yeah, I mean, we're judged on what we do, you know, year in and year out, right? So yes, there's a body of work, but we're also have goals for this year. AJ's got goals, Eric's got goals, I've got goals, and we're going to be judged on whether or not we can accomplish those goals. So, like I said, AJ's a pro. He's a big part of the organization, but we are all expected to perform at a very high level.
That's new.
Not on my day one bingo card from Eric Kutsenda. I give him credit for saying it. All that matters is winning in 2024. Rope is run out. This isn't Peter Seidler's regime anymore. And when I hear that from Eric Kutsenda to start a season, it tells me get to the postseason or changes are made. Isn't that what you heard? Did anyone hear something different than that? 877-767-4760 or 70470. Start it with team. There are expectations. Yeah, their spending is down. But yeah, he's a good talent evaluator. But guess what, Jim? What matters is winning at the big league level. That's what everyone's responsible for right now. And nobody's more accountable for that than AJ Preller. He's the guy pulling the strings to put this roster together. Can he do it or not? Let's see what happens in 2024.
That's so AJ, or not AJ.
Eric?
No, sorry, I'm blanking here. Kevin Acey.
Yeah.
Was on with Darren earlier.
Gotcha.
And they were talking about that exact quote.
Okay.
And I'm glad that Kevin, who covers this team every day and is, you know, our Padres insider, said that was the biggest takeaway for him out of the press conference from Eric Kutsenda. Not the payroll, not the TV, not the, you know, whatever else he talked about. It was that right there. When you go from, and, you know, the ultimate praising from Peter Seidler for AJ Preller to, well, you have to go and earn it.
Right.
That is that's a big tell to me. And I think a lot of people, when you're listening to that and all of a sudden you hear pretty much like, oh, everyone has to go earn it. And same thing with AJ Preller. If this team does not make a stride towards the postseason this year, or if they don't make the postseason this year, I would not be surprised if you see changes in the upcoming offseason.
I would be surprised if there weren't changes in the upcoming offseason. And by the way, if I'm AJ Preller and I hear that soundbite, or if I'm made aware of it, the first thing I'm doing is calling Tommy Pham's agent. Am I going down with 20-year-olds in my starting lineup in 2024, even though you have a well thought of organization or farm system that hopefully pays dividends at some point in 2024 beyond? Am I really going to start Jackson Merrill and or Jacob Marcy and or whomever when I got to get to 85 wins and there's free agent outfielders that have spent 10 years in the big leagues available right now?
Well, that's what I've been saying. Maybe this is AJ Preller saying, you know what, if I'm going down doing it my way.
Is his way with the kids?
Maybe.
Mr. Freewheeling Spender, AJ Preller, is going to go down with 20-year-olds?
Maybe it is. Maybe he views this as, hey, I am a really good talent evaluator, and I need some of these guys to stick, and I need some of these guys to hit. And I don't have any time to wait on these guys. So I need to do it now. And if I do it now and they work out, then I'm probably going to be retained and I'll be here for a while longer. But if they don't work out, like you said, John, you sign Tommy Pham, okay? You try to make a trade for another stopgap guy.
Yep.
And this year doesn't work out. Well, guess what? AJ Preller then will never have a chance to see potentially the fruits of his labor here with not all of the, but some of the prospects that he has drafted and brought in this organization. At least now with Jackson Merrill and whoever else, maybe not Ethan Salas, but he can now say, well, if I'm going to get fired, at least I'm going to get fired by doing it my way with my guys who I picked. And I want to see if they can perform now because I might not have a chance to do that after this season.
It would be an interesting strategy for a guy that's kind of avoided having a class of players graduate through the system and produce in the major leagues. Like he's been here 10 years, rebuild years and through everything, right? I mean, shoot, he got here. The Chargers were still here. They had a huge international draft sign. I mean, he's been here through everything, yet he's never had a class of young players really impact his major league team. I guess you could argue 2019 with Tatis and Paddock, but that didn't work out. And you had like a generational talent in Fernando Tatis Jr. Am I going down with the young pitching I have and the young outfielders I have, or am I going out and finishing this roster to complement my veteran superstar core? Like, you tell me, you got a bunch of 30-somethings, Machado, Bogarts, Darvish, Musgrove, Suarez, if he's in his 30s, and you're going to pair it with 20-year-old with no AAA time, 21-year-old with no AAA time, 18-year-old. It's just an interesting pairing. It's an interesting way to finish this thing off when I hear Eric Kutsenda say, yeah, listen, he can evaluate talent, but we have to win.
And I like to hear that.
I do too.
By the way, it was nice to, once I was fully back in it.
Yeah.
To see that Eric Kutsenda, very well spoken, looks exactly like the one picture that we've seen of him online. There was nothing about him that screamed out of his depths or this guy doesn't get it. This guy, it felt like he spoke in a way that didn't throw anybody. It didn't feel weird. Like it wasn't awkward. It wasn't like, this doesn't look like this guy knows what he's talking about here. So that was nice to see, but at the same time, is Eric Kutsenda going to be the guy if this season does not turn into a postseason run that's going to really just say, yeah, we're moving on from AJ Preller, and he's going to be the guy to find the next guy?
It sounded like it. Like from what he said there, it sounded like it. I mean, who would you suspect it maybe could be? Someone inside this family, okay, but they're not in charge of the reins right now. I think that's intentional. It's not Eric Grupner when Eric Kutsenda says he's accountable to the organization like we all are. I don't think it is. So I think somebody's got to, I hope someone is pulling the strings. I hope someone is in charge. I hope someone is able to make tough decisions. And when I hear Eric Kutsenda, it sounds nothing like Peter Seidler, even though they have this 30-year relationship. Yeah. Peter Seidler is Mr. Sustainability and, let's stick with what we have. And I trust AJ and I trust Eric. And Eric Kutsenda sounds more like a guy running a professional sports team, which is, this is the big leagues, boys. Literally, it's the big leagues. And this is this is the highest level. It's not about goodwill. It's not about marketing. It's not about selling jerseys. It's about winning. And I kind of like hearing it.
I kind of like hearing it too. We don't really know much about Eric Kutsenda at all, how he runs an organization. If this is how he runs an organization, which is very budget oriented, hey, we have a spreadsheet. We are going to stay on the spreadsheet. We are not going to take risks. We're not going to go out and go above these numbers. Is that going to sit well with the fan base after what we've seen with Peter here? Like, probably not. But I also do think people might respect the, okay, if this team doesn't win, that's unacceptable type of mindset.
I mean, the Padres are the perfect example of this. Don't you agree, Jim? Like, they've been around since when? 69. And we're all waiting for the same thing to transpire, them to win at the highest level. They've been close. They've had good teams. 2022 was a good team. But like the way that they've done things previously, I've said this before, haven't exactly worked out. They need to be more aggressive than they've been. They were more aggressive in spending. It got them close, but no cigar. Then this idea of preaching sustainability, it hasn't bought them anything. It's hard to win at the highest level. The Padres are a perfect example of that. I say do everything in your power as an organization to position yourself with a chance to win. Maybe they're there. It's an expanded postseason. Maybe you get in and you have a magical October and you can win a World Series. But if you're on the outside looking in, what else are we waiting for? What's going to happen in 2025 that hasn't happened previously under AJ Preller? How many opportunities do you get?
I thought the opportunities were done after last season. When you have such a failure of a year, and the fact that everyone wants to blame Bob for what happened last season, but it takes two to tango here. And when you have the lack of communication once again between manager and general manager, and that breaks down to the point where your entire season might be maybe that's the reason why your entire season went off the rails. I don't know, but maybe that is maybe it's a big part of it. Then how can you justify having somebody stay here when that person was 50% of the reason why last year was a disaster?
I mean, what do you guys think? If they're out of the postseason this year, is AJ Preller still the GM in 2025 or not? 70470 started with team. There is good news. The Padres have figured out their DH situation. We'll hear from Mike Schilt, Padres manager, on the other side. Plus, we have an Ethan Salas comp that's in the major leagues right now from Keith Law. Plus, did we mention a big one tonight in the Mountain West? San Diego State and Utah State. Paul Garrison, East Village Times will join us at 4:30. Scott Miller, New York Times, on Padres spring training at 5 p.m. Just underway. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, we're through NBA All-Star Weekend. We're pushing towards the postseason, and there's no easier way to get in on the action than with Underdog Fantasy and their Pick'em game. With the Pick'em game, you pick between 2 to 5 players, select higher or lower on player stats, and if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money in one single night.
Yeah, it's legal in California. I love playing with my favorite NBA players, and you can do the same thing while watching your favorite team. If you like fantasy sports, you're going to love Underdog Fantasy. It's the best and easiest way to win.
So Jim likes using his favorite Warriors players like Steph Curry in pick'ems. You can play with the Warriors. You can fade with Warriors players. You can go to their easy-to-use mobile app or to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. That's JONANDJIM. Underdog's going to match your first deposit up to $100. You're going to love their mobile app. Plus, you're going to get a free special pick of higher than a half total point to use on your first pick'em entry.
That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jon and Jim to get your first deposit of $10 or more matched plus your special pick. Must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, this update is brought to you by eBay Motors. Aztecs, Utah State, big game tonight between the Aztecs and Utah State. 6 p.m. tip-off, 5:30 is when our pregame cover starts. You can listen to that game right here, of course, on San Diego Sports 760. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
So you know me, I'm a hypochondriac because like
Dude.
I'll have something with my teeth and you'll say something and I'll like go to the dentist.
That happened before.
And there's also like that, I don't know what it's called, like when someone has something and then you think because you know that person, you're then inclined to get it.
Or you see that person get something and you want to never experience what that person was felt.
Kind of.
So you
but
try to
then
do everything you can to make sure you don't experience
But
that.
what I was gonna say is, to my credit, this is so un-John Schaefer like. You think between the time you told me you had a kidney stone Saturday morning to today,
Yeah.
I would have Googled ways to prevent a kidney stone. I have not. I actually just typed in ways to prevent. I said I'm not gonna do it.
Oh.
I just can't go down that rabbit hole because there's certain
you're
things in life.
fine. Just
I
drink
know.
water.
It's nothing to do with me. That's the
I
funny
know.
thing. This has
You're-
everything to do with you. Why
I
did
know. Why was it?
I don't know. It's just one of those things that once you hear about it, you're like, man, I really don't want to experience that.
You're fine. It's okay. But I guarantee you, I know you. The next time you have a stomach ache,
Oh my gosh.
you're gonna freak out. You are gonna be like, wait a second here. Is this happening right now?
Jim just had it.
Jim just had it.
We
and
share the same studio.
And he told me that he had a stomach ache and then it went away. And then came back later that night with a force.
I know this. If I have a kidney stone, I'm taking like a month and a half off.
Oh, you would have been gone.
I would have been
gone. No way in hell would
Yeah.
you be functioning right now.
No
chance.
chance.
No chance.
I would be complaining about everything.
You would be proud of me though. So Friday night, I didn't watch a second of the Aztec game. Obviously,
won.
I know. But after I got all the morphine and some other drugs in me, and I was like,
score.
I looked over to Aaron. It's probably like 11:30, and I go, "Do you have my phone?" And she's like, "Yeah. What do you want?" And I go, "Can you look up the Aztec score?"
That's amazing, dude.
And she goes,
That's incredible.
She goes, "They won." And I go, "What was the score?" She's like, "They won by 11."
Right.
I'm like, "Oh, okay."
It makes it all worth it
I'm
now.
like, "Oh, it's fine."
I'm proud of you for saying that.
I did ask Aaron late Friday night if she could look up on my phone the score of the Aztec game.
Let's lay this out real quick. Winner tonight, sole possession of first place in the Mountain West. Now, this is as difficult, arguably, as they come. On the road, elevation, a team that's tied for first place that you beat earlier this month. San Diego State did win in Logan last year in a low-scoring game. But again, everything's on the line for both of these teams. Winners got the inside track here. Can you lose it and win the Mountain West? Yes, but it's not easy. If you win it, you feel like you're going to win the Mountain West or at least a share. So, like, we keep saying, oh, biggest game, biggest game, biggest game. Well, here it is. Again tonight, San Diego State, Utah State, biggest game of the year.
They put themselves in this position. That's, good on them for doing that. It wasn't easy to get here.
Right.
But, and even if they win tonight, by the way, it's still not a foregone conclusion
Agreed.
that they are going to win the regular season, championship.
Agreed.
Because they still have Boise they have to play
At UNLV.
and at UNLV. UNLV is a scrappy team. They are not like an easy team to beat.
Yep.
Especially on the road. So that's why tonight isn't the end all be all, but it will put you definitely in the driver's seat for sure.
Yeah, and if you lose it, Utah State's got an easier schedule. Their
Yeah.
toughest game is a home game against New Mexico to close. So it feels like you win it, you got a really good shot. You lose it, it's going to be a challenge to get a share, potentially, of the Mountain West title in 2024. 6 p.m. tip. Ted Leitner on the call from Logan, Utah. Our pregame coverage, myself and Ben Fletcher, begins at 5:30. Padres spring training is underway. They're going to play Thursday against the Dodgers. Joe Musgrove is going to pitch. If you missed that conversation with Darren, you need to hear it, by the way. Go to sportssd.com or find it on the free iHeartRadio app. Joe Musgrove on with Darren earlier today. So we've been talking so much about the outfield.
I know, because they have no outfielders.
But what about DH?
That's a real position of need.
It is, because the DH plays every single game now in the National League. It's universal.
Yeah.
Mike Schilt was asked about the DH. Rest assured, Padres fans or not, listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now we don't have a clear cut DH. So, it'll be matchup related. We can use it, for giving guys like the half day, so to speak. So I wouldn't say it'd necessarily be a rotation with some guys, but we will use this as an opportunity to get guys off their feet on the field. And then we'll, use the guys on the bench, get them at bats, stay sharp, and we'll use it based on, the matchups.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is, guys, come on. Like, other teams are going to have full-time DHs.
Yeah, no. And that's a problem. Like, we have rightfully so thought a lot about the outfield, left field, center field, because you don't have a left fielder or center fielder right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we still have to remember that you're right. The DH is an important position. It is.
It's huge.
It's a massive position.
Yeah, it's huge.
And you don't have one. So if you have a situation where it's like, I don't know, Jake Cronenworth's your DH today. Like, what?
Yeah, we're not. And also, I don't want to take good fielders out of the field just to DH them.
Yeah, like, Xander gets a day off today and put him at DH.
No, he should be in the field. Manny, assuming his health, should be in the field. You're taking away some of Manny's value. Now, he's a great hitter. He's a great DH, but you're taking away some of his value by not putting him in the field.
If you had a surplus of players, like if you had, I don't know, how about 2 left fielders, right? Like if you had 2 legitimate starting left fielders, then you could be saying, okay, maybe, we'll switch. One of those guys is your DH.
Yeah, you don't want Jurickson Profar DHing.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
You don't want Jackson Merrill DHing.
No, you don't. He needs to play in the field.
You don't want Ha-Seong Kim as your DH to give him a half day.
Right.
You don't want Luis Campisano being your DH to give him a half day.
That's going to happen a lot, though, too. Well,
Higgy's
maybe not
catcher.
because you don't use 2 catchers in the same game in a starting lineup a lot, but that could happen, I guess.
It just goes back to this team is so incomplete still.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting to see this team back on the field, some batting practice, the crack off the bat, John. It just sounds different out there.
I know.
The pop of the mitt just sounds different.
But they haven't played any games yet.
They haven't played one freaking game.
Right.
Okay. There's so much left to be determined before the start of the year. And while it's nice to see Jackson Merrill, who, guy's a very large, he's big. He looks jacked.
Okay.
Like I didn't realize he was that big.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as like size comparison, like he is almost bigger than Fernando Tatis Jr.
Great. There's a reason Richard Dent wasn't in Major League Baseball.
I'm just telling you, it's like,
yeah, no,
it's
I'm
nice
with you.
to see him.
I'm with you.
But I don't care about batting practice. I care about what he does in the games. And Thursday, we'll get probably his first look in the outfield or, at short or wherever he's going to play. And if he goes 3 for 4, then everyone's going to be freaking out. If he goes 0 for 4, then everyone's going to be freaking out.
Well, what if I told you this? We're talking about how they don't have a DH, they don't have a left fielder, they don't have a center fielder. What if I told you they had Bryce Harper? Would you feel better if the Padres had Bryce Harper heading into the year?
Well, yeah, I would feel better if they had Bryce Harper.
Okay.
I know why you're telling me that.
Keith Law.
I know. I know where you're going with this one.
Okay, who does prospect ranking for his career?
Yes. Wasn't he down on the Padres prospects though?
Somehow.
He said he ranked them as far as teams go like 18th.
But this is what he had to say about Ethan Salas. Okay. Ethan Salas, the 17-year-old.
The great Ethan Salas.
This is a quote. Salas looks like a monster. Could be a plus defender with power and patience. We haven't had a prospect this young with this performance since Bryce Harper. Keith Law. Now here's the issue.
It's easy to be excited about that, and I understand it. But
he's 17.
That's maybe like take a couple steps back here and realize that he's 17 years old.
17.
If he turns out to be Bryce Harper, then that quote will be a quote that people will talk about forever. And he nailed it. Great. But we have a long ways to go before we even get there.
You know how old Bryce Harper was when he made his major league debut?
19.
He was 19, and he was productive as a 19-year-old in the big leagues. But we still have a long way to go to get to Salas' 19th birthday, like a year and a half.
Yeah, that's just maybe take some baby steps here, just a little bit. I know everyone wants to anoint everybody as the greatest player in the history of the sport just because they have high rankings prospect-wise. But it all changes when he goes out there and has, a 1 for 20 slump.
Right. It's
How-
like the saying, like, what happens when you get punched in the mouth?
Yeah, like how are you going to react to that? How are you going to perform to that? Can we wait for maybe like a full season before we anoint somebody the greatest player in the history of the sport? Same thing with Jackson Merrill. I know that batting practice is everyone loves batting practice, especially in spring training. But can we wait to see him in the game first? Can we wait to see how he does throughout the entirety of spring? I mean, what if he goes out and doesn't play well in spring? Then guess what? He's not going to be at the big league roster at opening day. If he does play well in spring, then he probably will be on the big league roster. Then you go to how is he going to look in his first couple games? How is he going to look in his first couple of weeks? How is he going to look in his first month? Right? How is he going to look for the first half of the season? Is he going to be able to keep up? Is the length of a season going to wear him down because he's 20 years old? Like he's never done this before in his entire life. How are these things going to happen? It's great to anoint some people and say they're the greatest thing ever because they have good batting practices, but we just got to wait a little bit on these guys. And that's why it's so tough when this roster is so incomplete, because there's no wiggle room and there's nobody to back these guys up if the young players struggle.
Well, AJ Preller going to go down with the ship with Bryce Harper in his system?
No.
Or not? We're going to find out here in 2024. All right, we'll get to Is That Good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. We've got a giveaway for you today coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. The Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival is coming back next month. We'll give those away in the 4 o'clock hour. Paul Garrison, East Village Times, gets us ready for San Diego State, Utah State at 4:30. Scott Miller, New York Times, the spring training underway, will join us at 5. Stay with us, Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it's Schaefer. I've been telling you about my friends over at Windmill Farms throughout the college football and basketball season. They are the college area's natural grocer. They are the perfect lunch spot for San Diegans. You're looking for something quick, easy, affordable. They've got all of that for you. And with a sandwich card at their deli, your 8th sandwich is going to be free. Check out their huge selection of sandwiches for lunch. They're affordable. They're high quality. They use fresh ingredients. They really pride themselves on their prices as well. In addition to that, all your grocery needs, take care of them at Windmill Farms. They've got the farm fresh produce and meats. They have an amazing selection of craft beer. They really do. And they're centrally located off Del Cerro Boulevard, right across the freeway from Montezuma Mesa. They're family owned. Trevor, his family, they've been serving San Diegans for 20 plus years, working with San Diego businesses, Harris Ranch, Mr. G Salsa. Even if you don't live in the college area, use Instacart. Have your groceries delivered directly to your doorstep. They've got weekly specials updating each and every week on Instagram and at windmillfarmsmarket.com. Get there this week for lunch, for your grocery needs, and shop local, shop at Windmill Farms. I don't know if people really want to be taken behind the scenes, right? I mean, Jim had a kidney stone this weekend. If you missed it, maybe just tuning in. So he may need to use the restroom a few extra times today. He's been drinking a lot of fluids because that's basically what they told him to do. And I'm drinking a lot of fluids. Now, Brett is not moved by this. Brett, you don't seem fazed by Jim's
I'm not.
experience. No, you're not going to change your diet. You're not drinking
No, I already
fluid.
water to start with.
Right.
So that's the big thing. I'll be all right.
Okay. All right. Aztec pregame coverage will begin at 5:30. First place is on the line tonight. San Diego State, Utah State, and Logan's headliner on the call. Paul Garrison from East Coast Times is going to join us at 4:30 to preview this game. Scott Miller, New York Times, is coming up at 5 p.m. We'll talk about Kutsenda. We said this past weekend about AJ Preller's future with the Padres organization, about the Padres spending, about whether the Padres are going to be active from here on out or not between now and opening day. Jim is back. I just updated our listeners, even our viewers, that say, listen, you're drinking a lot of fluids. If you missed it, you had a kidney stone. That's what they told him to do.
Yeah.
So you got, I think it's kidney stone first, show second. Like, what did Anthony Rendon say the other day? Yeah, baseball's not my top priority. But I get that if you had a kidney stone. Did you see that, by the way, in your social media scrolling from a hospital bed?
Yeah, that was going to be a part of my Is That Good, but way to ruin it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't look.
It's fine. No, it's fine.
Because listen, that's honestly, everyone understands family matters, faith matters, but to kind of say it bluntly,
fans don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear it. And how much is he making?
That's the problem.
Way too much.
When you're making as much money as he is making and not playing any baseball, that's a problem.
It's a big problem.
That's a problem.
All right, let's get to this while we have a moment.
Well, that was going to be my first one is Anthony Rendon saying that baseball is not his top priority in his life, which, I mean, look,
again, we understand.
I understand.
Yeah, completely.
But fans don't want to hear it. Fans don't want to hear when you're paid hundreds of millions of dollars that it's not really important to you.
Right. And he hasn't done anything since signing that deal, right?
No, he hasn't. He has been injured. It's not like he's gone out there and played 150 games a year and has just been really bad. He's been injured. He hasn't played it pretty much at all with the Angels.
It's 4 years. He's never played more than 58 games.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, there's a part of me that gets it. There's also a big part of me, and a lot of people would say, like, just maybe keep that one to yourself.
Yeah, dude, like 7 years, 245, and in 4 years, you've done nothing.
Yeah.
Like maybe, you know what? Maybe you should reprioritize a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I hate to be that guy. I get it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's things that are more important than your job.
Absolutely.
But like he's got a responsibility to his teammates and to that contract to do his best to uphold it.
Yeah. Like you had Mike Trout the other day say kind of the complete opposite. He's like, I want to stay here because I want to win here. And there's nothing I want more to win than to win for the Angels organization because I signed a long-term contract.
And I don't want the easy way out.
Yeah, I don't want the easy way out. Anthony Rendon's like, not that important.
It's all good.
Is that good, Brent?
No, it's not good. Are you kidding me?
Not great.
All right, my first Is That Good is the NBA All-Star Game had 397 combined points.
Are you kidding me?
Including 211 for one team.
Dude, Adam Silver was pissed.
What can you do?
He's like, well, congratulations.
I know.
Oh, man.
397 points.
Well, what made it worse was then afterwards, it's like Anthony Edwards and that were like, oh, well, we're not going to come out and try.
I know. Now, I thought NBA All-Star Saturday night, I don't know if you watched any of that.
That's okay. I watched highlights.
It was cool because of the court.
Dude,
all that craziness that was going on.
So by Saturday night, I was like alive. I was functioning, and I couldn't go anywhere. So I was in my hospital bed with Aaron, and we're watching the All-Star Saturday night.
It was pretty cool.
It's not like the first thing I would pick to watch if I wasn't in a hospital and I was fine. Like I probably wouldn't really watch it. But I watched it all because there's nothing else to do. And it was god awful.
It was, but didn't you agree that the court was cool?
The court was awesome.
And yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, I wouldn't watch it either, but I was somewhere where it was on. I thought the Steph thing was interesting. I'm with you. Is it my first thing I'm going to watch? Probably not, but I like the court.
Speaking of,
Okay.
my next is about the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The Steph Curry, Sabrina Ionesco 3-point shooting contest was the highest rated part of
Makes sense.
NBA Saturday Night. I thought it was the best part of NBA Saturday Night.
It was good.
Because I know we were talking about it, and they both shot from the NBA 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't shoot from the women's, and then he shot from the men's. Like, they both shot from the men's, and she showed out. She would have been in the finals
with the men.
And then Steph Curry just casually goes out there and gets 29. I thought that was the best part of NBA Saturday Night. So I love that. Is that good, Brent?
It is good.
Yeah, it was good. I agree with you. It was good. I thought she might win. There was a stretch in there early
She had
on.
the first 7 shots.
Yeah, I thought there was a
It
chance
was
she might
great.
win.
Everything else about it sucked.
All right, Jaden Ledee was named the Mountain West Player of the Week. Remember, 22 points in the second half against Colorado State. Follows that up with 23 points in 81-70 win over New Mexico on Friday. Ledee, Player of the Week in the Mountain West. Is that good?
It is good.
Very good.
I know that Friday night, I didn't watch any of the game, but going back and watching the highlights, that was a good performance.
No doubt.
By
It
everybody.
was.
By
Very
everybody.
good.
By the way, that alley-oop,
Oh,
dude,
crazy.
from Miles Bird to Saunders,
Huge.
that was dope.
One of the plays of the year. Seriously. Yep.
Yeah. My final one is getting a kidney stone. Is that good, Brent?
Oh, my gosh.
No, it's not good.
That is
Are
not.
you
That's the
kidding me?
worst of the sports weekend. You're right. That's the worst of the weekend.
By far the worst of the weekend.
My final is the selection committee in their early bracket reveal has San Diego State as a number 4 seed as of Saturday in the NCAA tournament. Is that good? It is good. It doesn't guarantee anything, and it changes every single day.
You lose tonight, and you lose another one of your final remaining games, and you don't win the Mountain West Conference tournament, then you're not a 4 seed.
Right. But it tells you what they thought of them in that moment. Good non-conference scheduling, good wins, good league. That's what they thought of San Diego State in that moment.
I'm still getting back into it, but tonight's game, the more you think about it,
is it big?
It's everything. It is for this season. For this season, it feels like they did what they needed to do. We talked about it. The 4-game stretch.
Yep.
You go 3-1. The best possible case scenario is if you lose to Nevada on the road, and then you win the next 3 versus Colorado State, New Mexico, and on the road versus Utah State. That is the route that you would prefer to take. You love to go 4-0 in that stretch, but 3-1, that's the preferred 3-1 route. And they have the opportunity to do that tonight.
We'll see if it's the toughest test or not among those 4 games tonight. 6 p.m. Ted Leitner on the call. Paul Garrison gets us ready at 4:30. Scott Miller on the Padres at 5. Hour 2. Jon and Jim comes your way next.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay Motors. Aztecs basketball tonight as they take on Utah State, 6 p.m. tip-off. 5:30 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Both teams are vying for the top of the Mountain West Conference. They're both 9-4 on the year. Winner will have to be in the driver's seat to win the regular season title. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Paul Garrison, East Village Times. He will join us in 30 minutes at 4:30 to get us ready for tonight. We're talking about it. It is as big as they get in the Mountain West. San Diego State, Utah State, both teams tied atop the standings at 9-4 overall. Then Scott Miller, friend of the show. I just had a granola bar. It's probably a bad idea.
I've told you that before. I'm like,
I know.
having a granola
like
bar
stuck in my
right
throat
before you go on the air.
It's a bad idea.
Not a good idea. And you've told me I'm fine.
It's fine if you chew it.
But here's the thing. When I have a 6 p.m. game,
Okay.
let me take people behind. Let's go inside baseball.
Oh, like we haven't gone inside baseball enough today.
Oh, we've gone very inside. We've gone very inside.
Yeah.
Right now, what I'm going to tell people is that when there's a show from 3 to 6 and there's an Aztec game at 6,
Your day does not end at 6.
right? And then I'm still here and I can't leave for dinner because then we have halftime. Brent's the same way. And then we have post game. So it just goes on and on and on. I basically can't eat for hours on end.
Oh,
I know. So I get a granola bar.
I'm so
when I have a
nervous
5-minute
about what I
break.
eat now.
Like a granola bar on the
like the
list
last
of don't eat.
The last 3 days, I haven't snacked. I haven't usually, I have like chips or whatever. Like I haven't had chips. It's been like rice and protein.
Is this what they told you to do?
No, I just did it. I just was like, I'm not drinking soda. I'm not chips. But
now that you tell me that, I'm not going to have them because you're not doing it. So you're telling me we can't have chips anymore because of
you can't have any
our
processed
kidney
food.
stone?
Nothing. Nope. You can't have any.
No
of that.
processed food?
No, it's probably the Cheez-Its that I had on Friday that really put me over the edge.
Are you serious?
Look at them.
I don't have Cheez-Its, but I'm not going to.
You know what? Actually, I had a granola bar on Friday morning, and then I started feeling like really bad.
John's like, I touched a cheese it the other day.
I saw a Cheez-It the other day.
Seriously,
no,
dude.
I'm gonna have a kidney stone.
That's don't joke with me. It's bedtime.
I know.
I'm kidding. Okay, this hour, by the way, we're giving away tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, March 16th. How cool is that? St. Patrick's Day is less than a month out. Opening day is a month from today, by the way, folks, for the Padres, March 20th.
First game is 2 days away. Well, spring game.
A spring game. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
And the first game a month from today is going to be well over. It's just at 3 a.m.
Yeah, we will have already done like
two wrap-up shows, radio shows. But yeah, you're right. Padres, Dodgers. Is this one in Peoria or wherever the hell the Dodgers play on Thursday? But Joe Musgrove's pitching, right?
Yep. And Michael King.
Michael King is going to pitch. We're going to see, we think, Yu Darvish on Friday.
Yeah. And it looks like we're going to see Jackson Merrill out in the field as well.
Makes sense.
Somewhere. This one is in Peoria, John.
Friday, you got to get a split.
Friday will be at Camelback Ranch in Glendale.
Okay. You got to get a split there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to, right?
What are you looking for out of Musgrove? 1 inning? Maybe 2?
I bet you probably, I would bet he probably tries to go at least 2.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because everything is accelerated here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he goes, there will be a definite pitch count. Like if he gets to the second inning and he's already at like 30 pitches and his pitch count's 30 or whatever the case may be.
Then he's coming out.
Then he's coming out. But if he finishes, 2 innings at like 34 pitches, I think that's pretty good.
But they haven't announced. So Musgrove's going to start the Cactus League opener, but they have not said who's going to start the opener.
No.
Just because it's Musgrove game 1 doesn't mean Musgrove game 1.
And that's what Schulte said, told everybody to not read into anything on Thursday.
Does he call Musgrove or does he call him Musgrovey? Or does he say Joey?
No, he said on Darren's interview, he said he calls him Big Joe.
Big Joe.
Gosh.
Big Joe. Everyone's got a nickname.
I want to really like you, Mike, but
he uses the hockey
vernacular. I really, really want to like you, and I think you're going to be a good manager. But
you don't like the nicknames?
Just maybe just temper it a little.
What about
bit.
moving Bogey though over to second for Kimmy?
Jeez.
And Campy,
Yeah, you know
the Campy's been.
Hey, look,
looks like he's got a good.
When we get to the part in the season when we like read the starting lineups for the game and
Oh my
everything,
gosh.
I know.
we're not going to call them by their name at all.
Campy,
Yep. we're gonna
Kimmy.
do
What's
nicknames all
Jackson?
the way
What's
through.
Jackson Merrill in this equation?
Ooh,
Jackie.
I don't know.
Merrily,
Look, if they win, who cares?
right? No, if they win, it's cool.
If they win, you can call any guy whatever. It doesn't matter. Schulte,
But
Kimmy,
if you let's say you have a
Ace.
4-0 8th inning lead and you lose
Sugar.
5-4, do you want to hear about Campy and Kimmy? And,
No,
right.
I don't.
Right.
That's the problem. Is you gotta go out and win.
You got to win to call everyone by a nickname.
Or those things become even more cringe.
I agree with that. All right, at 4:30, Paul Garrison's going to join the show right now. Let's get to this.
Hey, stop if you heard this one before. Is tonight a must win for the Aztecs?
A must-win game.
Do I need to drink more water? Is
Is the sky blue?
the sky blue? Do you need
No, it's
oxygen to
actually
live?
gray today.
Right.
That's a little
Raining.
you're right. Yeah. Do you need oxygen to live?
Must win.
Must win. If you put on the question, it's not a must-win game for the Aztecs to win the Mountain West regular season title, then I would say yes.
Mhm.
But if you're saying, is it just a must-win for their overall tournament hopes? I would say no.
Right.
So there's two different ways you could ask the question. One, is it a must-win if they want to win the Mountain West regular season title? Yes. Is it a must-win to make the NCAA tournament? No.
Right. It's a probably really probably need to win a share of the Mountain West regular season title.
Yeah.
They're extremely well set from a resume perspective to make the NCAA tournament. Not
Yeah.
to say that this schedule down the stretch is easy because it's not. We said it earlier. Win, you feel great about getting a title or a share of one. Lose, and you don't feel as good about that. So, yeah, when it comes to winning a Mountain West title and hanging banners, it's as close to a must-win as you're going to get. Next question.
Is the NBA All-Star game broken?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you can't have it be that bad from a standpoint of literally unwatchable.
What do you mean? Guys are just hitting shots. Despite the defense, everything was going in.
It made me upset
Yeah, it's not
to
fun
watch. I'm like, Luka and Jokic, they just could not care any less.
Who scored 50s?
Carl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, cat dude.
Come on, you scored 50 in an All-Star game?
Like some of the young players, especially, do not care at all, and that is a problem. I think if
Yeah, but
you
it's like they learned it from dad because the last couple of years have been bad.
well,
It just keeps getting worse.
I think if you had a bunch of LeBrons and Stephs and KDs out there,
Maybe.
it'd be different.
Well, what could they do? And enough of the money. We give the in-season tournament money. We're going to give them more money? But how come someone said this the other day, I forget, was it Adam Silver? I saw somewhere. Why is it you get guys at Rucker Park in the summer and they play like their life is on the line? Then you get them to the All-Star game. It's like, let's have fun and just shoot the ball.
Because they don't want to look bad. If they get shown up at Rucker, it's going
Right.
to look bad for
Well,
them.
then play this thing at Rucker Park.
I don't know what they're going to do, man, but it's broken 100%. And that was embarrassing on Sunday night. And guys, and it did. Like watching guys like Luka and Jokic just
Not
have
care.
just no care in the world for anything they're doing out there. I mean, have a little pride.
Right.
Like that was
But it's like, can you
disrespectful to the
play hard
game.
if nobody else is? Like, can you be the one guy defending?
Can
if
you
nobody else
fake
is
it? I mean, then
defending?
he weren't
I
even trying
know.
to fake it. Like at least, so whatever you want about LeBron and Steph, at least they're faking it out
Yeah.
there to make it look like they give a damn.
Brian, give us your stat that you had earlier.
I saw this yesterday. This just tells you how much defense they're not playing. In the 1993 All-Star game, this was the highest rated All-Star game ever. Like almost
Okay.
29 million people watched this game.
Is that good?
That's great.
Yes. 62 fouls were committed in that 93 game.
62.
So then we go to 2003, 37 fouls were committed. 2013, 24 fouls were committed. 2023, only 7 fouls.
Okay.
And then we get to this weekend's debacle.
Mhm.
3 fouls were committed
Can
in the
someone post-
entire game.
Can someone post a highlight video of those 3 fouls? I need to see them.
I kind of
What
remember them.
occurred?
Well, my
and whoever
thinking-
committed them should get a raise because that means
Yeah, you
was it a
tried
reach?
in some
You tried to make a
capacity.
steal, so
You tried to get the ball.
So I must have missed the part where the rules changed back to normal because I
With
thought
the Elam ending?
Yeah, I
That
thought
was
it,
just for that 1 year.
I thought
Yeah.
it was back to like the quarters, and then you play till like 24.
The Elon thing.
They
No,
just-
they got rid of it.
They just did that 1
Yeah.
year.
And it was amazing when they did it.
Yeah, it was
because
great.
they tried.
Well, it was better than the crap they did this
Man.
Yeah.
weekend.
But again, it's a lot of I mean, if you're a basketball fan, you can't help be pissed off at like guys like Luka
It's like,
and Jokic. I mean, those two guys, especially to me, were the poster childs for giving less than 0 Fs about that game.
well,
And
it's
it's
like,
embarrassment.
I would say this, like the NFL Pro Bowl, at least you understand it. Like football as a contact sport creates injury. Like there can be injury. So, okay, get rid of the Pro Bowl. Nobody wants to get hurt. Like, come on. They like it's basketball. They do this 365 days a year. You can't try with people are paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to be there, and you can't at least appear to try. That is a little weird.
Can we at least get practice level
Practice
defense?
level.
You know, we don't have to. It doesn't have to be Game 7 of the NBA Finals, but at least give us as much effort that you would give us at practice.
It's broken. Next question.
If the Bears trade Justin Fields, where's the best landing spot for him?
Ohio State.
Back at Ohio State.
Who says he can't go home again?
Right.
I think the best landing spot for him probably back, like go to Atlanta. I mean, hometown. I think there's some
played at Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some offensive weapons there. Pittsburgh is another place that they're talking about, but I don't know if like for the best place for him to go is somewhere with a good offensive minded coach. And the problem is Atlanta and Pittsburgh, they don't have that. But those are the two spots that need quarterbacks like desperately.
Mhm.
So maybe one of those two teams.
The Raiders.
Okay. What is the makes sense.
Well, he's better than Aiden O'Connell or
He's
whoever the hell they got.
Ain't no
And then
Connell.
they're,
And Jimmy G's
you know,
done.
He's on
Pair
like
him with
suspended list.
what's his name? The former Packer. Devontae Adams is there.
True. Josh Jacobs is there. Okay, that makes sense.
You know,
Raiders is good.
I
saw-
think Devontae Adams would be more appealing than going to Atlanta and like Bijan Robinson.
Did you see this weekend? I saw something on social media where someone created political ads for both Caleb Williams and Justin Fields as if they were
What?
politicians
No.
going for like the seat and like needing the vote of people in Chicago. It was hilarious. Like it was amazing. Like an example being like Caleb Williams is an East Coast elite that ended up in West Coast elitist circles. Justin Fields is one of us. He's a Southerner with a Midwest heart. Like it was unbelievably well done. But that's like what it is in Chicago now. Like, what side are you on? Are you on Fields' side, or do you think they should draft Caleb Williams? Next question.
What's the Padres' biggest spring training storyline with the opening day just a month away?
It's the outfield and Jackson Merrill, I think. Because you don't have any outfielders. I mean, there's multiple storylines here that you could say are the biggest, and I wouldn't say you're wrong at all. But for me, it is who's going to be their starting left fielder and center fielder. It's not just one position; it's two positions. And is Jackson Merrill going to make the big league roster on opening day?
My biggest storyline is Manny Machado.
How so?
In every single manner. When does he play in the field? What does he look like at the plate? What is he saying about Mike Schilt? What is he saying about his teammates? He's done it all right so far because they're playing, Pepper on the infield in Peoria. So Is Manny ready for March 20th? And are we going to determine that over the next 30 days? And it's one thing to play. It's another thing to produce. Remember, we were like critical of him hanging on in September. It's like, you kind of have to know sometimes when to shut it down. Like, the team was on life support and you were hurt. He played decently well, actually, down the stretch in September. I just want to see, is this guy going to be close to the 2022 player or not in 2024? Like, you can't have 23 play out again if you're Manny Machado. He has to be better, and I don't think it's going to be easy coming off injury and with high expectations from day one. And I hope he doesn't, like, force the issue. Like, I have to be out there March 20th. I have to be in the field March 28th. He's just so critically important. You're right. I think a lot of the airspace and the column inches will go to like Jackson Merrill and outfield and DH. But I think truthfully, like as Manny goes, they go. So let's see what this guy looks like. And if he's ready to go March 20th.
Are they really going to go into the season without making another move?
No, they will not.
Okay.
They will not. They will be making. I mean, Kutsenda this weekend was like, listen, we may not be done. Preller said we may not be done. I'm with you. With each passing day, it's like, are they done? But there's a lot of names. I mean, a lot, not just big names. A ton of free agents have not signed.
I mean, if you read Kevin's piece today, Jackson Merrill is all they need.
Yeah, I mean,
turning heads, bro.
He's turning
heads with BP.
But again, this goes back to like, yeah, and I know we're both. It's one thing to be good now, and even if he turns heads in spring training, it's a whole nother thing to do it once the season starts. Maybe he can do it. Maybe he can put it all together, but maybe not.
How many games typically would one play in spring training that's trying to make a big league roster? What, 20?
20. But they are shortened because they leave March 13th, so 15, 17.
Is that really enough games to determine if this kid can play 135, 140 games at the big league level and be consistent?
It's sometimes a mirage.
I know it is. A lot of times it really is.
Yeah. And listen, we all get fixated. We're going to say it. I know we're going to say it. It's going to be the 9th consecutive day. He's got a 2-hit game. Like, this guy's ready. You know, like, it's easy to get enamored with it, but you're facing like some dude that was pitching in single A Greenville last year in the 4th inning of a Cactus League game.
And is it, I mean, he wasn't even close to ready, at least perceived last year.
No.
So then to go from nowhere close to starting left fielder the following year?
Right. It is a big leap.
Usually it goes, okay, watch out for this guy next year.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for this. It feels like every day that passes, and this is nothing against Jackson Merrill. I hope he turns out to be a glue piece for this team and a big part of hopeful success for the Padres. But it just feels like every day that passes, and I know that we're just so early in the process here, that they are having Jackson Merrill do this not because they want him to do it, because they don't have anybody else to do it.
Well, to your point, how about this? This is an only number. They only play 20 game days. There's a split squad in there, but they only play 20 game days between Thursday and leaving for Korea. 20.
It's not a lot.
No. So, like, again, a guy like Musgrove, why is he pitching the first day? Because he's only going to get 3 or 4 opportunities. Same thing with Darvish. You're only going to get 3 or 4. And even Merrill, to your point, there's 20 game days. He can't play 20 games. Now, he could play like 17. That would be a huge workload. Yeah, he's going to get probably, that 17 or 18 range, and he's not going to play full games every single time. But you're right. I mean, 17 games times 4 plate appearances, is 50, 60, 70 plate appearances enough to determine that he can make this team or not? I think they'll tell you it's enough, but I don't know if it truthfully is or not.
And if you have a starting outfield to start the year of Profar, Merrill, and Tatis, is that good enough? Look, his bat is the most important thing. Yep. If he struggles offensively at the big league level, who cares what he does in the outfield?
If he struggles defensively. If he struggles defensively or offense. Oh, yeah. Okay.
What I meant is, like, if he, kind of exceeds expectations at the plate, then I think they can live with maybe some deficiencies in the outfield defensively. But if he is kind of averaged defensively and he holds his own, makes the routine plays, maybe he makes a couple mistakes here and there, but overall it's not like an adventure in the outfield for him, but he doesn't perform at the plate, that's a bigger problem.
Yeah, definitely. You can't just hold that job down by being like some elite defender in left field.
No.
Because they're going to need real production.
Yeah.
Because they've struggled with offensive production. It's hard to just fall into great offense at Petco without having some semblance of a 1 through 9 in there.
And you might say, well, look at Trent Grisham last year. He's a Gold Glover.
Right.
And the last couple seasons offensively was awful. I would say that was a problem with the Padres that I don't know why they never addressed it until they ended up trading him away, which is something that, they should have taken care of long before they traded him away. Like, he was just not good offensively. He was not a productive offensive piece for this team. Defensively, he was great, but offensively, it was horrific. And you don't want that to be Jackson Merrill.
But it's a good point. You just like, can they look at Merrill like, well, we did with Grisham?
I don't hope not.
So we can. What's worse? So if Grisham hit 190, and this kid can hit 190.
Yeah, if he hits 200, who cares? Grisham hit 190.
But that's not getting better.
No. You're a 20-year-old kid. Okay. one of your top prospects in your
Yeah,
organization.
you don't want him hitting 189.
You want him to hit like 259.
Yeah, exactly. If possible. All right, Paul Garrison, East Village Times, 6 p.m. tonight, right here on San Diego Sports 760. Aztecs and Aggies, San Diego State, Utah State, first place on the line in the Mountain West. Paul Garrison covers San Diego State for the East Village Times. Will join us on the other side, and still ahead, your chance to win this hour a pair of free tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival on March 16th. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, lower mortgage are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey guys, it's Schaefer. Right now, Loan Pronto has a cash out refinance rate of just 5.4%. That is a huge drop. So you can get refinanced now, get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments, or if you still have a mortgage rate in the threes, you can use Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit. Just get the cash you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you $50, $100, even $200,000 in just a matter of days. And bottom line is this: Loan Pronto has several options to help you erase debt and take control of your finances. Call today. You could even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. Call Loan Pronto right now. Here's the number. Write it down: 619-207-4336. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. 5.49% has 6.39% APR. Subject to lender approval.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay Motors. Tonight, Aztecs take on Utah State. 6 p.m. tip-off, 5:30 pregame right here on San Diego Sports 760. Both teams playing for first place, sole possession of first place in the Mountain West Conference tonight. Both are 9-4 on the year. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
.530 San Diego State, Utah State. First place on the line in the Mountain West in late February. Ted Leitner on the call. Paul Garrison does a great job covering San Diego State from the East Village Times. He sat next to me, in fact, at the Final Four in Houston this past April.
Oh, it must be nice.
Yeah, well, you had you didn't have kidney stones.
No, I did not have a kidney stone.
But you weren't sitting courtside with Paul.
No, I was not.
Okay. Anyway, Paul Garrison back with us here on Jon and Jim. Obviously, tonight, first place is on the line. Do you see it as simply as this? Winner wins the Mountain West in 2024 or not?
I would be hard pressed to try to predict what's going to happen in the Mountain West. There's obviously been crazy things that have taken place, but whoever wins this game absolutely is in the driver's seat. They have very similar. Both of these teams have very similar schedules to finish out the season. And as you say, I mean, it's a very good call to be able to say that whoever wins this game absolutely should be the favorite to win the conference championship. And, for Utah State, they're pretty happy that this game's going to be at home.
And with the Aztecs on the road this season, Paul, I feel like it's been a little up and down. There's been games where they played really well on the road, and then there's been games where not so well. And looking at the last 2 games that have been on the road that were the biggest of their season, the Aztecs didn't come out and they didn't, start fast, and they started kind of slow. Do you expect that kind of tonight, or do you expect that to be completely different with the Aztecs team tonight in Utah State?
I think one of the parts that's made this Aztec team fun is that they're kind of different than a lot of Aztec teams have been in the past. They are very skilled. But also they don't win on the road like the other Aztec teams did as well. And I think that, as you say, they've had a hard time getting started. And, they have a 4-6 record on the road, which is normal around college basketball. It's just not normal in San Diego. And so that's the thing that they have to figure out. They've had lineup changes that have, kind of led to some of those poor runs. But anytime on the road, they've had a really difficult time just kind of stopping runs in general. And, this would be a perfect time to break out of it.
Paul Garrison, East Village Times with us. I want to say in 6 consecutive games, I could be wrong, but I thought I read maybe from Mark Ziegler in 6 consecutive games that the first media timeout San Diego State has trailed, which really is surprising. And of course, they don't want to be in that same spot here tonight in Logan against Utah State. You mentioned the lineup changes. Has that surprised you at all? I mean, this team is among the elite teams, not just in the Mountain West, but in the country. Yet over the last month, there have been 3 or 4 iterations that Brian Dutcher has used. Has that been surprising at all to you or not?
Oh, absolutely. And, I think probably the most surprising part of it is it seems like he was trying to figure out a way to trade a little bit of defense for offense and maybe have his cake and eat it too, where by playing small in those small lineups where you could surround Jaden Ledee with just great shooters at every position. But they haven't been able to rebound. They haven't been able to take care of that side. And so Jay Powell, Elijah Saunders, Miles Heide has had to team up with Jaden Ledee to be able to keep them honest. But I think that is an interesting part. I mean, San Diego State, obviously was just ranked in the reveal that came out. And yet they have had all of these lineup changes. They do still seem like they're not quite where they need to be. And obviously as the season's running out, the idea is, will they ever get to that point? The flip side of it is, if there's still levels for Brian Dutcher to do what he's done and still creating, still crafting, it would suggest that San Diego State might have still another level to get to.
The young players on this team that have gotten bigger roles this year, Elijah Saunders, Miles Bird, Heide, for you, who do you think has shown the most growth of the young players that have been put into bigger roles this season?
That's a great question. It's really hard not to say Miles Bird, just because of, I think, the competition for minutes that he goes against in taking, when he goes out there and plays, he's taking minutes that could go to Micah Parrish, that could go to Reese Waters, and Elijah Saunders and Miles Heide. They both play a position of need. That basically they kind of almost, along with Jay Powell, they're kind of the three that are playing that role. And so I think it's been really impressive to see Miles Bird kind of bring just an element it's kind of amazing to see. I mean, basketball is obviously a game that's built around tall people with great length. But even among all of those really tall, exceptional, elite people, Miles Bird's length causes problems for everybody. And they're talking about potentially that he could be 7 foot when all of his growing is said and done, doing the things that he does on the wing, the way he's able to reach and get to balls, the energy that he brings. I think it's just been his ascension from the beginning of the year to where he is now. It's been really, really fun to watch, and it's made the Aztecs a lot better.
No doubt about it. Paul Garrison is with us right now from the East Village Times. San Diego State, Utah State, first place on the line at the Spectrum in Logan, Utah, coming up tonight at 6. With Ted Leitner on the call. Jaden Ledee just had a massive week again. He was Mountain West Player of the Week.
What's new?
He was, a Naismith top 5 Player of the Week, I want to say, nationally. He's going to be an All-American, right? Either first team, second team, or third team. Would you be surprised if he wasn't a consensus, top 3 team All-American this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there would be some sort of like highway robbery. I mean, I think that longtime Aztec fans remember how Marshall Falk got slighted from the Heisman Trophy from Gino Torretta. If Jaden Ledee isn't an All-American, first, second, or third team, somewhere there, it's possible that could be the biggest slight in San Diego State history. I mean, that would be incredible if he doesn't win that award.
How would you assess Dutch's coaching overall performance this year? Just another classic Dutch, coaching, performance with this team, or is he doing things that, you might look at as we kind of undervalue, and when Dutch is gone, we're like, wow, we really missed for that from Dutch.
I've been on record writing articles that I think that what Brian Dutcher does is second to none. San Diego State is not supposed to do what they're doing this year. They're not supposed to have a team that can finally get to a Final Four and then lose everybody and be able to be a dark horse to get there again. That's not the way the rules are in college athletics that so heavily favors the power conferences against schools like San Diego State. What Brian Dutcher is doing and being able to rebuild and to have kind of almost a different personality with this team is nothing short of incredible. We talk about, the different lineup changes. We talk about doing that, and that can mess with players' psyches. That can turn sideways on a lot of coaches. But it, really reflects well on Brian Dutcher, his ability to do all of that and not lose his team, his ability to have people play unselfishly, but also play with that edge of selfishness that they want to be the one who's in the game. And so I think that, you look at what Brian Dutcher has done and his ability to, craft unique teams around the talent that he has available to him, while also keeping the framework of what makes Aztec basketball great, has been spectacular. And it's only his personality, I think, that people can kind of, because he's understated, he's kind, all of those kinds of things that, is not what you think of when you think of a D1 coach. But that's the only reason that he could be understated at all. And I guess it is his national persona a little bit, but I think people are starting to catch on.
To your point, like it's not supposed to work like this. It's like the cards are stacked against you, and then you look up, and not that this is the end all be all, but ESPN.com as of today has 6 Mountain West teams in its projected field. That's tied with the Big Ten.
Wow.
It's more than the Big East, which has had like 4 national champions since the split of the Big East with Villanova and UConn. It's more than the ACC with 4. The Pac-12 is projected to get 2 right now at ESPN.com. What do you think ultimately happens? How many Mountain West teams are going to the NCAA tournament this year?
I'll stick with 6. I think that is the right number. I think it's the right number that's deserved. I think that if you look at the history of the last, 10 years or so, the Mountain West has always seemed to do well when it's come to those times. I think it'll be interesting to see how they decide to seed the Mountain West, because a lot of times those things can go either way. Like maybe San Diego State, instead of being on that 4 line, jumps up to a 3, or even the last 2 possibly inside of those rankings. But that means they're going to leave Nevada off of the out of the field. So I say 6, and I think that what Aztec fans experience at Viejas is what New Mexico fans experience when they go to the pit. It's what Utah State fans experience when they go to the Spectrum. And I think that kind of grassroots love of the team from the fans is really what's caused a lot of these teams to play great basketball. It's made them attractive to transfers. I think it affects how hard they work in the summer, because for San Diego State to be able to go and win that game tonight, they're going to have to be elite, and that can only happen through great practice in the offseason.
Paul, great stuff. We're looking forward to tonight. We appreciate your coverage of San Diego State athletics at the East Village Times. Thanks for hopping on today on San Diego Sports 760.
Always a pleasure, guys. Take care.
Our pleasure. Again, Paul Garrison, East Village Times. There's a great text on the text line. I've been going back and forth with our loyal texter, 619. And there's something about your kidney stones. And then I replied, and he said, Schaefer, I heard changing your diet because someone else has kidney stones causes kidney stones.
Oh, you just messed him all the way up.
That is so funny and so me.
John, during the break, we're sitting here like talking about what to not eat or what to eat to like help prevent like a kidney stone. And it got to a point where John just goes, so basically I can't eat anything.
We can't eat. First of all, I've never had a kidney stone. Why am I doing anything differently?
I heard wearing 3-button pullovers causes kidney stones.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Wearing too many hats causes kidney stones.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Here's what we need you to do right now. By the way, Scott Miller, New York Times, will join us coming up at 5 p.m. On the other side, your chance to win 2 free tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Call right now if you want a chance to win those tickets. First 2 callers will be our contestants. The number to call for 2 free tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, this is for trivia, is 877-767-4760. 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be our contestants for trivia. Winner gets those 2 free tickets. Again, the number to call, 2 free tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, 877-767-4760. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. Guys, it's Schaefer. You're looking for the easiest, quickest, most affordable, healthiest lunch spot in San Diego. Look no further than Windmill Farms, the college area's natural grocer, centrally located off Del Cerro Boulevard. Your 8th sandwich is free, quick and easy parking, in and out access, full deli menu, healthy, affordable. 8th sandwich is free with a sandwich card. It's perfect during your work week. It's also perfect for your grocery needs. Whatever you need, they've got you covered. Farm fresh produce and meats that's organic, their craft beer selection, their full complement of anything you could possibly need from a grocer they have for you. They're centrally located right by Montezuma Mesa, family owned. Trevor and his family, I always tell you about that. They've been serving San Diegans for 20 years, supporting local businesses. You don't even have to live or work near the college area because you can find them on Instacart, have your groceries delivered directly to your doorstep. And again, make sure to check them out at windmillfarmsmarket.com because they have weekly specials you can take advantage of. You can find them on Instagram as well. But whether it's your work week for lunch, your weekends for your game day needs, just your general grocery needs, remember, shop local, shop at Windmill Farms. a kidney stone breakdown at every break. Like
Everyone's
people
like, do
coming
this,
in.
you gotta
There's
do this,
comment.
you can't do
Is that a
this.
pun?
What's that? Is that a pun? Did you say? Kind of.
Yeah,
You need a channel, a YouTube channel
A
on
kidney
this.
stone channel.
Oh, by the way,
Kidney Stone wrap-up channel.
Brent, the color two just drop off because we only have Abraham. All right. So if you want a chance to win these 2 free tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, you need to call right now. You can play Abraham and Trainwreck Radio. That's trivia. The number to call for 2 free tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, March 16th, is 877-767-4760. This is in the gas lamp. This is a great prize. 2 free tickets, 877-767-4760. Call right now. Again, 877-767-4760. This is for the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival. Gas lamp, music, beer. Like, do I need to say more? It involves music. It involves beer. It involves free.
Those are 2 great things.
Those are good things, right? March 16th, gas lamp quarter.
Love it.
Sounds very nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Sounds awesome.
Well, call 877-767-4760. Here come the phone lines.
Yeah, everyone's telling me what I need to do or should do for prevention of a kidney stone. I don't know, man. The one thing that I will do more of that I severely lacked doing
Drink water.
was drinking lots and lots and lots of water.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you drink water.
It's yeah. I drink water, but not to the extent of what I need to do now, which is like minimum 2 of
gallons.
Two of these a day, which is 64 ounces of water. Like,
I can't wait till like next Monday you're back here.
drinking
Coke,
soda, yeah.
chips.
You know what? Actually, Aaron bought too. This was right before the whole kidney stone fiasco on Friday.
What's that?
We got one of those, in our break room, the water dispensers.
Yeah, you have those at home?
She got one from Walmart. It's like kind of like that, but you have to go to get the jugs from the water dispensary and you just put it there. And so we get cold, fresh water now. And it's great.
Yes, water is huge.
It's like
very
a big
important
thing.
part of life.
Like, you should probably drink a lot of water, everybody.
No doubt.
If you don't drink water, you're going to end up like me. Don't end up like me.
That's really well said.
Yeah.
All right, Scott Miller, New York Times contributor on Padres spring training, moves that will or will not happen. His thoughts on Jackson Merrill potentially starting the year in the major leagues. He'll join us coming up in about 10 minutes. Right now, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Abraham and Dustin. Abraham, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Let's go with John.
All right, Abraham and John.
Abraham and John. Dustin, that means you get me, okay?
Awesome.
All right. Brent, what is today's question of the day?
All right, earlier we talked about the debacle this weekend that was the NBA All-Star Game.
Yeah.
Well, the NBA All-Star Game featured a record 397 combined points. Today's question, name any of these 7 players that scored 20 or more points in the game.
7 players scored 20 points.
Yes.
Or more. Okay.
All right. Okay. So Dustin, you're up first. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Steph scored 20.
He did not
No.
score 20.
Okay. Doors open for Abraham.
Abraham, you're up next. What's your first guess? You have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Oh, man, I'm so excited for this one. Karl Anthony Towns.
Cat. Yes.
50 points off the bench.
That's more than 20.
How many minutes did he play? Like
How many
20?
players in the history of the sport have scored 50 points off the bench?
Recently, it's been a
also-
lot.
off the bench? That's crazy.
Maybe not off the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dustin, you're up next. What's your second guess? You have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
I guess I'll use a lifeline.
All right.
Lifeline time. That's you, right?
Lifeline time. I'll go with Dame Lillard. Will you take that?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Dame time.
How many points?
He was MVP.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. He also hit one from half
30
court.
minutes. He hit 2 from half court.
Pulled up from
Wow.
half. He just casually
Twice.
pulled it from half court. That's how the game is supposed to be played, John.
No doubt.
Abraham, you're up next. What's
Thanks, Steph.
Yeah, okay. Your second guess, and you do have a lifeline. What do you got?
Let's go with Giannis, the Greek freak.
Giannis Antetokounmpo
Antetokounmpo
on the list.
All right, Dustin. You need this to stay in the game. What is your final guess? You do not have a lifeline, so it's all up to you.
Jokic.
Nikola
Joker
Jokic
to tie it up. No, and it's over.
Oh,
Abraham.
Wow.
In a convincing victory.
Well, at least everybody knew the names of all-stars, just
Right.
didn't know how many points they scored.
Right. Nobody said Charles Barkley.
Yeah, or like Michael Jordan.
Right. Okay. Well, Abraham is the winner, which means this is what he's won. We'll tell you about who's on that list in a moment. He has won a pair of tickets to the Shamrock St. Patty's Day Music and Beer Festival, March 16th. Tradition returns as an authentic Irish celebration takes over the streets of San Diego's historic Gaslamp Quarter. Heading back to its roots, the 28th annual Shamrock provides a full lineup of the nation's top Irish and Celtic rock bands, iconic tribute performances, and Irish dancers galore. Tickets and info at sandiegoshamrock.com.
I just looked it up. Carl Anthony Towns. You want to guess how many minutes?
22.
28.
28 minutes, 50 points.
2 points per minute, essentially.
Is that good?
That's pretty good.
What did he shoot from the field?
Let's see. He was. It didn't say.
It was like 19 for 20.
Probably.
All right. Who's on this list, Brent?
All right. We had Carl Anthony Towns had 50. Shea Alexander from the OKC.
Shea Gilders
I
Alexander.
can never say it. Maybe by the end of the year. He had 31. Dame had 39. Jalen Brown had 36. Tyrese Halliburton had 32, including 5 consecutive 3-pointers to start the game.
Jeez.
Giannis had 23. And then I think that's supposed to be Jason Tatum. He had 20.
Hold on. Carl Anthony Towns in his 28 minutes only had 35 field goal attempts.
That's it?
He was 23 of 35 from the floor. All right, Scott Miller, New York Times,
Wow.
23 of 35. Scott Miller, New York Times. Is Jackson Merrill going to make this team? Are moves on the horizon for the Padres? What's AJ Preller's future look like? Scott Miller joins us next. All right. Hey, guys, it is Schaefer. We've been telling you about our friends over at Novo Brazil Brewing, proud supporter of the Mesa Foundation Collective and San Diego State Aztecs men's and women's basketball. They've got this brand new limited edition co-branded Aztec Raspberry Kombucha that you have to try. It is spectacular. It's available at all their area locations. In addition to that, it was taste tested by San Diego State players, Lamont Butler, Jane Ledee, Micah Parrish. It supports the Mesa Foundation Collective. You got to get to their brand new spot in Mission Valley, which has been open maybe 5 or so weeks at this point. Their fresh new spot, 350-seat restaurant, full bar menu, 60 taps of Novo Brazil beer. They've got the kombucha we've been telling you about. They have seltzers. They have so much more. It's really family friendly. They have something for everyone because of their food offerings like sandwiches and salads and tacos, everything, burgers, empanadas, appetizers. It's not just the Mission Valley location. You got to check them out in IB. You need to see it at Otay Ranch with their massive LED screens. These are the best sports bars in San Diego. And for more information, you need to check out novobrew.com. That's Novo brew.com.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay Motors. Aztecs basketball, hour from now as they take on Utah State. 5:30 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. It's the battle for sole possession as of right now for the top of the Mountain West Conference. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of Jon and Jim. In fact, we have San Diego State and Utah State pregame coverage at 5:30. Tip-off just after 6. Ted Leitner on the call right here on San Diego Sports 760. We are moving towards March. We're moving towards both the NCAA tournament and, of course, opening day, which is a month from today, hard to believe, for the Padres. It's always great to connect with Scott Miller. He's a brilliant baseball writer. He's a contributor for the New York Times. He's been great to the show over the years. He's back with us here on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Scott, maybe I should have asked when we were texting back and forth. Did you happen to stumble upon what Eric Kutsenda had to say this past weekend, specifically about AJ Preller and just like, hey, everyone's accountable to the team's success? I was a little surprised to hear him talk in that manner about Preller. What was your reaction to Eric Kutsenda meeting with the media for a first time?
Yeah, I was as well. Nice to be with you guys. How you doing?
Good, Scott.
So to speak, with spring training underway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, it was definite change of tone. Eric Kutsenda, as you say, saying AJ, everybody's accountable. Definite change of tone, because all we've heard, from the late Peter Seidler over the past several years is, how much he believes in AJ Preller and AJ Preller's excellence. And what Eric Kutsenda had to say wasn't quite to that level, of course. But, I thought Eric pretty much hit the right notes on what he had to say. I mean, look, the Padres had the last 3 years have been really disappointing. Last year was, arguably, given the payroll, the expectations coming off the NLCS the year before, they don't even make the playoffs. Last year was arguably, I don't even think arguably, I think it was the single most disappointing season by far in Padres history. So when you're coming off underachievement like that, everybody should be accountable. And AJ Preller hasn't been. I mean, it's not like he's in his second or third year. He's been around for about 10 years or so, I think, when he come in 2013 or 14. So, there's been enough of a resume, enough of a track record that, when you're coming off a year like last year, there should not be too many people that comfortable with their jobs unless there's some performance this year.
Scott, what'd you make of the position change for Xander Bogaerts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no secret that Ha-Seong Kim is a better shortstop. He's a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. I think certainly it's interesting in that they gave Bogaerts the long expensive contract, and he only lasted shortstop 1 year before moving over to second base. I think a couple things. I mean, you can certainly still argue with, the whether that the Padres needed Bogaerts and should have extended that kind of deal to him, both years and money. And the fact that they moved him off a shortstop after 1 year, certainly. I think another way to view it is obviously he's all-star caliber player, and the fact that he was willing to do what the team asked him to do, that speaks highly of him and his character. I mean, I do think, especially when Juan Soto was here last year, the Padres had enough, to me, kind of high maintenance, high ego type of players that, that might have played into the disappointment last year. That there was too much eye and not enough team. And I think Bogaerts agreeing to switch positions, that speaks very well of him and hopefully that helps set a tone for this year.
Scott, we're going to try to clean up your phone line if possible. Brent, can you hop on the line, see if we can maybe get a cleaner connection, because we want to hear from Scott Miller, but we want to make sure it's clean if possible. So I don't know if it's where Scott's located or the phone line that he's on. Is it Jim?
Probably. Turn mic on
it's
it.
you.
It's probably me. Yeah, it's 100%
everything that you have to deal with over the last week just goes
just to hell
horribly wrong.
Just everything. I mean,
seriously.
To think about that, the Super Bowl was only like a week ago.
That's
essentially.
You know what? You were never going to stop thinking about that. This has actually been something to get you to stop thinking about it.
Well, I didn't want to go through a kidney stone and emergency surgery in the hospital to have me stop thinking about the Niners.
That's actually a really good point.
Like, I'd much rather have had the opposite happen.
Right.
That I would never have to have a kidney stone
and the Niners won the Super Bowl.
And even the Niners lost the Super Bowl. I don't care. It's fine.
All right, let's connect again here with Scott Miller, New York Times, with us on Jon and Jim. Obviously, one of the talking points here this spring is, well, it's not a complete roster as of yet. Now, it doesn't have to be a complete roster. It's only February 20th. But with each passing day, Scott, are they going to turn to not just Jackson Merrill, but other young players to fill out some of these positional needs they have?
No choice as of right now. So, yeah, they're going to have to now. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of money to spend. I obviously, and AJ Preller's been on the record with this, that the roster they start spring training with is not going to be the roster they finish with. There's so many players out there on the free agent market. I mean, it was such a sluggish winter. It's like you wonder, half the teams, are they even trying? There's so many players out there that remain unsigned. But where the Padres are concerned, I do think, it's a waiting game, and they're going to wait for prices to come down, or for waiver claims, things like that later in the spring. So I do think that right now, the young kids like Jackson Merrill, I mean, this is a huge opportunity for them. I mean, if I'm one of those kids, I'm like, look, they may sign somebody, but my job, especially when the Texas League games start, my job is going to be to try to win one of these jobs and show these guys, hey, you don't need to go sign somebody. Now, that said, Jackson Merrill and the others are still so young that, Padres probably are going to go sign some people by the end of camp. As I say, when prices drop, and eventually, it's going to be a buyer's market where the teams are concerned, because prices, eventually, these guys that are still unsigned are going to have to sign with somebody, or going to want to sign with somebody. That said, at what expense might it mean to the team chemistry? If all of a sudden the last week or two of spring, you're signing, 3 or 4 guys, all of a sudden adding them to the roster, and how do they fit? How are they going to get along with everybody? You don't have the whole spring to kind of team build, so to speak. So, it's definitely going to be a work in progress, and it's going to be interesting.
Do you think the Padres can afford to not make any other moves? Like, if they made no other moves, do you think that what they have is I guess good enough to compete and, push for a playoff spot for the wild card? Or do you think that they have to make a move, or this is going to be a very difficult, thing for them to try to accomplish this year with so many uncertainties?
Yeah, I mean, I think a move would help. I don't know if I want to say they have to make it. I'd lean toward yes, they have to make a move. But as I said, where moves aren't made, there are definitely opportunities. And I mean, who's to say a kid like Jackson Merrill might not all of a sudden become Rookie of the Year material? So they've got some interesting pieces, but I would lean toward, they need to make some moves for no other reason, for depth purposes.
Scott, we appreciate you doing it. We're having some issues with your line. We're going to connect with you again once we get closer to opening day on March 20th. We appreciate you hopping on. No worries at all. It happens, obviously, on live radio, but thank you for doing it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Scott Miller, New York Times.
My fault.
It's Jim's fault. Yeah, this is nothing. It's like, again, if Merrill doesn't hit, I was initially going to blame Preller, but now I'm going to blame Jim.
Yeah.
If Merrill doesn't, work out.
See, you had sympathy for me for like 2 days. And then now that's
I'm
back to it's all my fault. You're the worst, and I hope you get another kidney stone.
No. I seriously don't hope that. I don't. I really don't. But you provide a good perspective there where I'm like, look, now you're no longer thinking about the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, but I didn't want to like go through surgery and a hospital stay to no longer think about the Super Bowl.
Like to think on Sunday when I was in the morning. By the way, when you're in the hospital, it's weird. They every like couple hours they come and check on you to take your vitals.
Yeah, it's a hospital.
I know, but it's like it was like 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
Some random guy comes in.
You're like, dude, I'm sleeping.
And he takes my blood pressure and gets my temperature.
Yeah.
And then leaves. And I'm like, what the hell? And then 4:30, same thing. Same guy comes in. I'm like, what is happening? He's like, don't forget to order breakfast. And I'm like, breakfast, bro. I'm like, I'm tired.
Right.
And then someone came in at 5:30. Got to take your blood samples. And I'm like, what is happening? This is a lot.
Hospital life.
And Sunday, from this Sunday to last Sunday, it was like the Super Bowl was happening.
Man, that is crazy. What a difference a week makes.
It felt like forever. And it's only been a week.
I mean, I think there's multiple ways to look at this.
How?
Because I'll give you the glass half full perspective, no pun intended.
Give me the glass half water full, yeah.
At least you weren't in the hospital during the Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
And at least this didn't happen later this year. I don't even want to.
Oh, we've talked about it. The
jinx it.
The wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we talked about it.
So it could have been worse timing.
Because so my bachelor party's up here.
Oh, are you doing that?
Am I doing it? Yeah.
I mean, you're hey guys, bring your water bottles. We're gonna go to every water station, every casino.
Drink all the water,
dude. I heard Mandalay Bay's got a spectacular water fountain.
Dude,
on
the
the
water there
floor.
is elite. Yes, I'm still doing that. I'm just thankful that it didn't happen during my bachelor party.
Oh, that would have been a disaster.
And knock on wood, it's not during the wedding. It's funny. Aaron's like, if this happened during the wedding, I'd drag your ass down the aisle. I was like, dude,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
If you need emergency surgery.
Oh, dude, like get some morphine in me and put me up there at the altar and let's just go. But yeah, it could have been worse. It could have happened during this. Like, imagine if I was in the hospital
watching the game,
over dealing with this kidney stone and this team just, loses again. Like, oh my God.
You took the ball. Like yelling at Kyle Shanahan.
I'm injected with more morphine. Like,
oh my gosh.
It'd have been the worst. It'd have been the absolute worst.
All right. At 5:30, Ben Fletcher's going to hop in here for countdown tip-off, which means Jim can go home.
Oh, thankful.
Thankfully for you.
Yeah.
We do have basketball tonight again in 45 minutes. Actually, the tip time is going to be 6:10.
Are you nervous?
Yes and no. Let me explain that because, I'm nervous because, of course, a lot is on the line and San Diego State is in the business of winning league titles. I mean, they are, and nobody wins more league titles in the Mountain West than San Diego State. But it's like, I got bigger goals, and they do too, but you can't get your bigger goals without dealing with your short-term goals. There's some of this to me, Jim, and tell me if you think I'm off. Some of this is like, you want to win a league. But even if you don't win the league, it doesn't take away from your chances to fulfill your goals, right?
Yeah.
Padres finished in second place in the NL West. They wanted to win the division, but it doesn't prevent them from winning a World Series or getting to one. Is there some similarities there with like how it works with the NCAA tournament? Yeah, you want to win it. Make no mistake. They want to win it. They want to be on a banner. But if they don't win it, they can still accomplish their goals regardless of whether they win it or not.
I agree. I think this team has been in this position so many times.
So many.
This is nothing new to the coaching staff. This is nothing new to the seniors and multiple year players on this team. This is all kind of expected, right? Like this Aztec team is every year. It feels like they are expected to be at the top of the Mountain West Conference. They're expected to win the regular season title. When they go into the tournament, the Mountain West Conference tournament, they're expected to be in the championship game. I mean, how many straight years have they been in the Mountain West Conference tournament championship game?
Let me answer that. Every year Brian Dutcher's been head coach, 6 heading into this year.
So the expectation is very high.
Yeah.
That's why when you sit here, if you're a fan and you're like, oh man, I'm nervous. Well, this coaching staff has been through it all. And they have that expectation to be at this level every single year. So to me, yes, tonight's game is the biggest game of the season, but I'm not looking at it like being like nervous, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, I've been here so many times.
Yeah.
This is like par for the course.
The other thing, and I agree
It's
completely
like
with
Patrick
you.
Mahomes in the Super Bowl. He's not nervous because he's been
Because
there.
they've been there. That's a good point. It's not about nervousness. It's about executing. I mean, it's about realizing Utah State is good. San Diego State has to match that and overcome playing on the road. And then I hear a lot of this, and there's nothing wrong with this sentiment because it's accurate. Like Jim has talked about too. To win the league, you're going to have to win a big game on the road, you would think. That's probably still accurate. It's going to be hard to imagine they win the league losing here tonight. And then people kind of go further with that statement and say, that they can't win a big game on the road. How are they going to win in March? They don't play big games on the road in March. There's a difference. Like, this isn't like, imagine in Major League Baseball, if the Padres were in the NLCS and they were not the home team, as in they had 4 games on the road. Let's say they're playing at Dodger Stadium in the NLCS. Just hear me out. Best of 7. And let's say the Padres in 2024 were awesome at home and terrible on the road. You'll run into baseball teams like that. Let's say the Padres at home were 59-22, and on the road they were, 30-50. I'm making it up. You know what I mean? Well, they'd be like, man, it's going to be tough to overcome it. They're playing the Dodgers, who are good at home, and they have home field advantage. There is no home field advantage in the NCAA tournament. No. I mean, there's advantages. You might be playing in someone's backyard or closer to home, but you're never playing in Logan. No. You're never playing at the Pit.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, okay, maybe they don't get over the hurdle of winning a huge, massive conference road game this year. And maybe it prevents them from winning a Mountain West regular season title. But does it prevent them from winning in March?
They have shown that on neutral floors, they are a good team.
Right.
And just look at this, what was it? The Vegas Tire, whatever it was?
Vegas Tire. Continental Tire.
The Continental Tire.
They beat St. Mary's by 25.
And they went to overtime with Washington. That was the Jaden 30-20 game.
Yep, that's right. They beat Cal and San Juan Capistrano. That was a close game, but neutral. Yeah, right. It's different. I mean, neutral is a lot different than road.
Completely. Yeah. The atmosphere tonight will be very good.
Yeah,
but you make a great point. You're not getting those atmospheres, one, in the Mountain West Conference tournament and in March.
Yeah, they're different. Like, having, been with San Diego State last year on its run, I mean, the energy and the building and the environment is unique. Like, the NCAA tournament is different, but it's very, it's almost like some of it is corporate, some of it is structured for television. It doesn't feel like a regular season game. It's not like everyone walking into Viejas Arena and you got 12,000 people rooting for one team. Now, the Final Four is completely different. Yeah. That's a completely different animal. But I remember even at the start of the Alabama-San Diego State Sweet 16 game, it's more of a bowl game than anything else. It wasn't an Alabama home game. I mean, it was more of an Alabama home game than a San Diego State home game, but it has more of a bowl feel than anything else. So my overall point is, yeah, of course, go win tonight. Go, capture this league title if you're capable of doing it. But if, for whatever reason, you don't win tonight, close game, not close game, that doesn't change anything. Even if you win tonight, you got goals ahead. Even if you lose tonight, you have goals ahead.
Yeah, I think if they lose tonight, you can win out in the regular season. And if you get to the Mountain West Conference Championship tournament game, I still think, if they win that, a 4 seed isn't out of the realm of possibility.
Hold on. This is a timeout. Let's take a 30.
Okay.
Were you under morphine on Saturday morning? Do you know what happened Saturday morning?
I was on. Yes, I had a lot of drugs in my system.
Do you know what moment happened? The selection committee meets.
Yeah,
and they take the top 16 teams and they rank them in that moment.
And they have the Aztecs at number 4 seed.
You think? Just hear me. You think if they go 8-0, 5 wins here, remaining, 3 more in Vegas, they're a 4 seed? I'm asking because I think they could move up a 3.
I said if they lose tonight.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
You weren't. I was saying if they lose tonight,
they could still be a 4
and they win out the regular season.
Yeah, I agree.
And then get to the championship game in the tournament. There's an outside shot still at a 4 seed.
No, I agree. I don't even know if it's an outside shot.
You win out here, dude. You could be potentially a 3 seed, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the ceiling? 3
depends on how they do it. Like, if you won out here, and if you had 5 teams from the Mountain West make the tournament,
right,
and you beat them all teams in your conference tournament,
then you're probably a 3 seed.
You're a 3 at best. You're a 4 at worst.
I don't think. Yeah. I don't
5
think you
seed
can be
means something catastrophic happens as far as like the seating committee goes.
in that scenario.
Yeah. But no, that's only if they lose tonight.
Got you.
I didn't say if they win tonight,
Oh,
then there's
that's
a
what I'm saying.
great
Like,
shot for
yeah,
them.
yeah. Okay.
It's okay.
That's what happens when I don't listen to you.
I know. All those thoughts in your head about getting a kidney
I'm
stone.
thinking it's been a really interesting week. It's been a very tough weekend for me, guys. I've had to get text from Jim about his kidney stone.
When you saw that text, were
I
you
was
just
like, dude, what are you talking about?
Speaking of kidney stone text, have you guys read the last one?
What's the last one?
What does it say?
It says from 619 says, don't take any chances, John. Have both your kidneys removed and kidney stones are 100% off the table.
Right.
Invest in a home dialysis system. Prevent kidney stones. They hurt.
Just don't have any kidneys.
Right.
Just like literally get rid of
Yeah,
your
it's-
kidneys.
It's like that genius move or meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
619 number says,
No.
John, the leading cause of kidney stones is drinking water.
Dude, we've been pounding water
Dude, you're
today.
drinking water right now.
And I'm out.
You're gonna sit in a corner and just like do nothing for the rest of your life. You hypochondriac.
I know.
you.
No, I'm gonna move on from this within the next couple of months. I'll move on to something else to get worried about.
Better hope
I
I don't-
always have something.
If I get another kidney stone like soon, then you're gonna be freaking out too. Actually, no, you won't. You'll be like, you're an idiot.
Probably.
Why don't you drink water?
Right, drink water.
Drink water. Take your medicine.
Okay, so here's the plan. Again,
Don't
6:10
be soft.
is the tip time. Ben Fletcher's going to join us over here for the countdown to tip off. We're going to get you ready.
Oh, it must be nice.
Very nice to get Ben in here. And then, of course, we've got halftime for you. We've got the wrap-up show. Post-game, Ted Leitner, of course, is on the call here tonight as well. As big as they come. A couple of 9-4 teams in the Mountain West. San Diego State back in continually on the countdown to tip off. They'll have once again here tonight as well. And basketball coming up in about 45 minutes from the Spectrum in Logan, Utah, in front of a sellout crowd. San Diego State, Utah State. The winner is in sole possession of first place in the Mountain West. Jim, go drink something.
Drink water with the girls
Preferably water.
all the time.
If you missed anything today, sportsst.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. Find us on social at Jon and Jim. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. The countdown to tip-off is next. The big one in the Mountain West at 6:10. San Diego State and Utah State right here on San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.